The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rizacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning, Stuart, Florida. My name is Dr. Tred Rizacker, and I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I am here to carry a message of hope and health and a ominous warning about pitfalls that could drastically affect your health and your life and your longevity. I was once a fat, hopeless, I'm still a doctor, who struggled with weight loss. And I finally found a solution about 12, 13 years ago for my own weight loss. And I was actually able to reverse my type 2 diabetes at that time. I still have type 2 diabetes, but it's not as bad as it was. And I used a laser. You know, I never would have believed in all my life that a laser or a red light machine could actually get rid of body fat and help to change my BMI and my overall posture. It was, you know, it just, I never read about it. I didn't learn about it in college. There's very little that you can read about it on any kind of websites. But I had this desire to help people. And I saw in my own practice as a chiropractor for over 30 years, 35 years, that everybody was getting fatter and fatter. You know, I mean, it just, nobody wanted to talk about it. It was like the gorilla in the room, well, everything seems okay. And then this 500-pound gorilla comes walking through and everybody's like, no, I didn't see that. Did you see it? There was nobody in the room. And I'm like, no, I just saw it. He's huge. And then, they're upsizing chairs on airplanes. They're changing the amount of weight, the tare weight for, which is the average weight of a person that flies. They went from, I think it was 150 to 170. Like everybody gained weight all of a sudden. And, oh my God, it was something that.
No wonder airfare's gone up.
Yeah.
More weight to carry.
Well, you got to calculate the fuel.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. By the way, we Evan is taking a little break for his other passion, which is the Mets. And I got Frank here with me. And we've done quite a few shows together.
We have.
Thank you for coming in on your giving up your highly paid corporate job to come in here and do this, Frank.
All right.
Me and Frank are we're creatures of the same kind because we both have wives that are from other countries.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yours is from the Philippines, right?
No, from China.
Oh, from China.
Mainland China.
And my wife is from Thailand. So
yes.
That's
cool.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yes.
So I am the owner and the doctor and a client at the Slim Body Laser Spa. It's called Dr. Tred Slim Body Laser Spa. And never in my life would I have, if I could have written down where I'd be 13 years from now, before, that this would have changed my life and changed so many people's lives. And it has been something that you can't, have you ever lived through life and realized that you had very little, very little of what happened really came from your own ideas? You kind of, I remember fishing and I never thought I would be obsessed with fishing, but when I was a kid, I was 7, 8 years old, and we used to go to the lake upstate New York. And I remember fishing for the sunfish, the little bren, and put that little worm on there. And when I felt that tug on the line, I was hooked.
Yeah.
Never would I have thought it would have changed my whole life, but that one incident. And I could go back on so many different things. I'm love light. I'm a purveyor and a admirer and a studier of light. Who would have thought? It's like fire, water, air, and light.
Mm-hmm.
And light to me,
it's almost biblical.
Well, it's primordial.
Yeah.
It is the energy of the
Mm-hmm,
world. It's where everything came from.
Yep.
Without light, nothing ceased to happen.
That's right.
You go to the Bible or all even scientific books, and light is really something. So, at the Slim Body Laser Spa, we're using light-based devices to help effectively shrink and reduce body fat wherever it occurs. I'm starting to understand now that it's actually causing even visceral fat to come down. It's systemic. When you shine light on somebody in the right amount and the right wavelength, meaning color, and the right power, it's absorbed into the skin. It affects the cells of the fat cells and causes them to release their contents. But some of that light is gathered by the red blood cells as they travel through the vascular system, and they carry the light, called photonic energy, photons, to the other cells of the body, up into your brain, into your legs, into your tissues. And so this light saturation, which is what you would think of like when you're watering the ground, you're saturating it with water and it seeps into the dirt, and then it's easier the next time to water it again. It's called saturation, and light saturates the tissues and it carries the energy to other parts of the body, and it stimulates mitochondrial function. Now, mitochondria are the powerhouse, the nuclear generators of your cells. You've got, 50 trillion cells that make up your body. And did you know that every single second, 25 million cells are dying in your body?
Yeah. And
Every
being
second.
replaced by new cells.
And every second, there's 25 million cells being replaced at the same time.
Every 7 years, you have a whole new body, theoretically.
Except for your brain cells and your fat cells.
Right.
Just so you know that.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, you don't want to lose your memories.
Yeah.
Or the warnings that you learned when you were a kid.
Right.
And you don't want to lose those calories.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're precious.
Well, I like the analogy that you use about the refrigerator and the
oh, you do pay attention.
Oh, of course.
The food's out in the garage.
Right. Right.
You got the two compartments.
Yes.
And, and that's a way that people can understand how the laser works. But I'm starting to learn that the laser is treating all of your body fat, not just the outer fat.
Wow.
And it's stimulating tissue repair. It's stimulating protein synthesis. It's helping to remove poisons from the body at the same time. And, oh my God. It's I don't it's really amazing. It blows my mind. And it's almost like how's the best way to describe this? There's certain humans, we're on this spaceship called Earth. Okay. And so far we haven't been able to get off it that I'm aware of.
Not too well.
We're all stuck on it.
Well, yeah.
And it started out as a blob of rock, 10 billion years ago. And over the billions of years, it's turned into a planet, which is called in the Goldilocks zone of the universe, which is where it's, not too hot, not too warm, not too cold.
Right.
And it has the ability to actually make oxygen, you know, and
Mhm.
this planet has the ability to, and we're basically carbon-based creatures.
Mhm.
Everything in our body is tied to carbon.
Mhm.
Carbon is the most
Abundant.
prolific
Mhm.
substance in our world, and that's, you know, when you hear about carbon neutral, I hate to say this, you're carbon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
So
when they say carbon neutral, you know, you better look out for that, because you're a carbon
Yeah.
creating creature. You breathe out CO2.
that's right.
And so when they talk about removing carbon from the world, you know, it's not a really great, you know, you better be more specific as to where the problem is.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway,
Yes.
so and as a result of that, you know, we have what happens is, as we grow through life, the carbon and we eat the food, and it's a big cycle that repeats itself, and we go back into the ground, and then it's reestablished, and new plants, you know,
Mhm.
it's called just progression, not evolution, but it's the nature of things. So early in time, gravity is an effect, a force, which is dependent on the mass of the size of the planet you're on. Now,
Mhm.
there's a lot of planets out there.
Mhm.
It's so interesting to watch what they're starting to find out with these probes into Mars and
Mhm.
into Venus. And, you know, I mean, they're just, every probe they're sending out there is saying that at one time there was probably water here.
Yes.
You know, and maybe not now, but there's mountains, there's ravines, there's deep cuts and
Deltas.
all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's not so hard to believe that maybe at one point those planets were in the Goldilocks zone and they were just as populated as us. We don't know that. However, we do know that, you know, there's a power out there which created this whole kit and caboodle. It's an intelligence. It's definitely smarter than you or me. And you know, yet it has certain basic parameters necessary for its expression of life. You know, if you took someone and you removed the water from them, they would die very quickly.
Yeah.
If you took food away and they couldn't get energy from the food, they would die very quickly. Did you know that if you alter the gravitational force on somebody, if you lessen the gravitational force, you can make somebody very sick?
Yeah.
So that means gravity, which is dependent on Earth, the size of Earth, and our mass is how we get gravity.
Yeah.
Okay, so I weigh 225 pounds, and that would be considered 1G, one gravitational field force,
Mhm.
and that's my weight.
Right.
If I doubled my weight to 440 pounds, that would be 2Gs
Mhm.
on Earth.
Mhm.
Okay, so my systems, my heart rate, my blood supply, the way I swallow, when I sleep and I detoxify, because the kidneys are in your back. Did you know that you cannot detoxify standing up and sleeping in a sitting up position? You'll
No.
get sick and get very sick. Sure.
Wow.
You know, at night, your body repairs itself. And the reparation, as it repairs itself, it's dependent on you laying down, and thus your kidney flow through your kidneys is increased 3 times that when you're standing.
That explains the nighttime visits to the restroom.
That's
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and our creator was smart enough, or there was enough intelligence that when somebody lays on their left side, the left kidney is closer to the ground. On the right, it's the opposite.
Right.
So on your back, but stomach sleepers, not a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for temporary, short term, but you could get sick.
Yeah.
So standing up is super help deprivation. Why? Because you're violating one of the lateral laws of life, which is gravity.
Mm.
Now, when they take humans and they bring them into space and there's no gravitational pull because they've moved away from Earth, they become basically weightless. They have no weight. And that's what you see them floating around the spaceships and
Yeah.
holding water in the air and sucking it into their mouth like there's no cup around it. It's quite amazing. But we also know that removing a human from gravitational fields makes them sick over time.
Amazing.
And one thing that happens with humans when you take them out of gravity is viruses will be exposed and actuated within their body when they're up in space. They're more likely to have certain viruses.
Mhm.
Who would have thought that gravity keeps that down? They will develop muscle weakness. They develop cardiovascular disease and because it's no longer the system needs to be challenged with weight.
Even the eyes are affected.
Everything is
Yeah.
affected,
Mhm.
right? Now
Mhm.
that is something that we know about.
Yeah.
Now remember, gravity is one of those primordial forces. Well, so is light.
Mhm.
Light, okay? The sun, energy spewing onto the earth. Plants absorb the energy, the radiant energy. They turn it into starch. We eat the starch, breaks the bonds. We get sunlight energy in our body. That's how we get our energy, is from the sun. Well, that sun also has a very strong part of our life of what we would call our circadian rhythms.
Mm.
Now, a circadian rhythm is that rhythm that, when you fly overseas and you fly from 2 time zones and everyone's awake, yet you're asleep because you came from the Eastern time zone to Asia,
Right.
that's your circadian rhythm has been disrupted.
Yeah. Big
And
time.
you're tired and you're hungover. And, these are rhythms which are very important to us. And there's many of them. It's not just sleep and wake. There's, when you're hungry, when you want to have bowel movements, when certain systems are, when there's detoxification happens,
Mhm.
when there's areas when you're actually rebuilding tissue, can't do them both at the same time, if, for most part. And what happened is the light, since we were born in light, our earth was founded by light. All of everything that came before us, the eukaryotes, the cells, the viruses, the plants, the minerals, all needed light to function. Plants move towards light, don't they? Have you ever take a potato and put it in a box and poke a little hole at the end of it? All those eyes that come out, they all grow to that light. Okay? So light is like gravity. We need it. We need abundant amounts. And here's the problem. We're hiding from it.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, I see people they work in a box. They go to school, they go home in the car, which is a box.
Mhm.
And then they go in and they watch TV, which is another box.
Mhm.
And, when they go outside, they put sunglasses on to protect their eyes. We're dressed from, around our, we don't walk around naked because that
well,
wouldn't be acceptable.
Right. People would talk. Yeah.
And so we're not getting light on our privies or any other part of our body.
Right.
And light is absorbed by the body. And it is something which is very much necessary for your body's ability to heal, to repair itself, to have sleep, to wake up,
Vitamin
to have
D,
all
right?
of your enzymes and your hormonal processes
Mhm. Mhm.
are controlled and run by light.
It's amazing.
And if you think about it for 1 second, picture yourself the creator of something. And you create these organisms and you've given them everything they need. And you're trying to figure it out, like, what can I put that will make sure that these organisms know when to go to the bathroom, when to sleep, when to wake up? Because if we let them stay awake too long, they'll get sick and die. If they sleep too long, they can't go out and get food. So I need something to time it by.
Yeah.
And hey, sunlight. Every 24 hours that we circle around the sun.
Right.
And we get this whole new, it's like a clock. And it's the rhythm. So, sunlight has gotten a really bad rap. Now, of course, too much, too close, you can get burned and it can go in deeper. And if your immune system is not strong or you're a weakened state, you can get cancer from it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that don't get cancer because they're in the sun. It's people, it's an opportunistic thing for the most part.
Mhm.
And I am very, attracted to what's happening with light. And I am starting to understand that, and learn. And we're just scraping the surface of this, like we're like cavemen wondering, how we can make fire of how important light is to us. But do you know that your eyes within your eyeball is connected directly to your brain? So your eyeballs and the optic nerve that goes into your brain is like directly connected to your brain. There's no other part of your body that's so closely directed
There's
to
no
it.
interface. Yeah.
There's no interface
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
And that optic nerve goes in and it goes to all areas of your brain. And within your eye, you have things that detect light. One is rods and cones. Okay, we've heard about that.
Yeah.
There's a focal, there's an optic disc, and you have rods and cones, and there's red cones, and there's green cones, and there's yellow cones. And these will depict the certain wavelengths, which are colors. Thus, you can see these different colors. Well, there's a whole bunch of other parts of light which you don't see. All right. Now think of the Pink Floyd album.
There you go.
Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yeah.
Was that it? The Pink
I think
Floyd?
so. Yes.
And they showed that prism. And, the light goes in, white light, which has all the spectrum in it. By the way, white light has all the different wavelengths.
Exactly right.
That's why they call it white.
Mhm.
And then it goes into that prism, and the prism separates the wavelengths. So you see the not the infrared. You see the UV first, ultraviolet, and then it goes into purples, and it goes into yellows, and it goes into yellows and greens and blues. Those wavelengths are very short, and they're not absorbed well by the body. Your eyes see them, but they're not absorbed well by the body. And when you get into the yellows, you get into the red, which is near the other end, and then they call this thing called near infrared, and far infrared. Those wavelengths, you don't see those,
right?
But they are absorbed by your body much deeper than than blues and yellows, which is why you can get burned by the sun. However, the sunlight in the morning and in the evening, an hour after sunrise, evening before sunset, an hour before sunset, those reds and yellows are super beneficial for your health. Yeah. I mean, you might be dropping thousands of dollars on vitamins and dropping money on going to the gyms and exercising and trying to, change how you feel, psychotherapy, AA meetings, 12-step groups, on and on and on and on. Let me tell you, get up in the morning, sit outside 1 hour right after sunrise and let that sun hit your body, and something changes. It is like, it's just like a friendly grandmother that came over and decided to take care of you when your mom abandoned you. Yeah. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
And yet you don't even have to understand it because it's primordial. This was how we work. Now, in your eyeball, not the part that allows you to see, there's something called chromophores, and it is rich with these cells, and these cells detect this radiant energy, this red and yellow wavelengths, and these near infrared and far infrared wavelengths. And this is what allows your body to start up its cycle in the morning. Your ancestor, not your ancestors, probably longer than that. They woke up to sunlight and they went to sleep when it was dark.
Right.
So they're starting to prove 100% that when you go to sleep, you need a dark room. I mean, no light.
Yeah.
Any light at all will interfere with that mechanism, and those chromophores that are more prevalent at the top of your eyeball, by the way, which is something I just learned about, are stimulated, and it causes you to wake up again. So, you go to sleep and maybe you leave on the clock light next to you, or, like with me, I have a printer that I have to put something over because it's light, and I've always liked a dark room.
Yeah.
I've never known that. But how many people fall asleep with the TV on?
Sure.
Going on and on. And besides the fact they're being programmed subconsciously to buy stuff they don't want. But so what happens is, so now you're sleeping and your phone, bing, 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 your little notification. And
Right.
you're like, you get up and for a second you look at that phone and that thing is a blue light.
Yeah.
That's not a red, yellow light. That's a blue light.
Yeah.
That's like the sun at noon, instantly in your face. And that can stop that circadian rhythm. It starts the cycle to wake up, and then you think you're going to go back to sleep again. Sleep deprivation, improper sleep, not getting enough sleep, not knowing when to go to sleep is probably the number one source of illness, sickness, and ill health. Hands down, there isn't a single person that would deny that people that have problems sleeping, they don't detoxify, they carry more body weight, they have more illnesses, they have more stress, their skin, sleep is a reparative thing. And you really need to have 6 to 8 hours of this reparative sleep. And it's interfered with by light. And wow, who would have thought that? Now, here's something else I noticed. So what do? It's dark and you got to pee, right? Something wakes you up. Oh man, I got to pee, Don't turn on the light.
No.
Leave, but you don't want to walk into the dresser.
Right.
So what they're starting to show is that you should have lighting set up that is below like the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Down low.
Yes.
You ever been to some of those hotels where you step out and and the light is under the bed and it kind of lights up?
Yeah.
And then you can walk to the bathroom. In other words, you don't want it to shine on the top of the eye.
Got it. Yeah.
So if you're going to look at your cell phone, turn it away and look at it from the side very quickly, or turn down the light,
brightness.
the brightness.
And
There's
you can
also
actually pre-program your phone just for that.
Yeah, right. But you can't see as great pictures. I mean, I have all of my computers, all of my screens set up to this daylight, daytime, nighttime thing.
Right. Good.
But it's not as enjoyable at night when it's all
isn't.
dark and yellow looking and
difficult. Yes. Yeah.
But light is really critically important. And that's really important to know that. And if you can start to understand that we are just like an astronaut in space is not having gravity, if lack of gravity makes you sick, lack of light makes you sick also. Yeah, something so simple. Why am I telling you this? Slim Body Laser Spa, a weight loss center, body sculpting uses light. We're not using heat. We're not using the higher energies. We're not burning. We're not sucking out. We're not freezing. We're not doing any of the ultrasound, which breaks stuff up and busts cells apart.
Nothing invasive.
Nothing. Well, remember, to a surgeon, anything's non-invasive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, of course. Well, it's not invasive. What do you mean? Well, it's only an injection and we're only using a small needle and we're only, we're not really knocking you out. So compared to surgery, it's non-invasive. I can tell you this. They'll tell you cool sculpting is non-invasive.
Really?
That's that thing burns. It leaves holes in people.
Sure.
It can go through the skin. It can create hard lumps.
Yeah.
That's non-invasive.
Oof.
Not in my opinion.
Right.
I'm a chiropractor. To me, taking a pill is invasive compared to a natural food product. So, non-invasive. So light is being used. It's a science-based process. By the way, you're listening to Dr. Tread's Slim Body Laser Spa. If you've just tuned in, I'm over on East Ocean Boulevard across from the Fresh Market, and we're open for free consultation. There's also a $49 discovery day. If you'd like to come in, check it out. No obligation to sign for the whole program. You can come up $49. You can have a laser treatment to try it out. Okay. We have so much success and so many people. There's no hard sells there. We're not going to chain you down and make you do anything you don't want to do. You get to meet me. You get to see what I do. It's Dr. Tread Slim Body Laser Spa. You know how to find us. I'm not going to tell you my phone number because you'll forget it anyway. I even forget my phone number. All right. So what happened is what I thought was diet and exercise. The only way to lose fat is to diet and exercise, right? That's like a caveman.
That's what the AMA says.
Well, that's what the caveman thinks.
Right.
You know, the only way to have a kid is to knock them out and whatever. You know,
Yes.
in other words, they don't have any other options.
Right.
Because
Okay.
they're not of that intelligence.
Right.
Well, did you know that fat loss is really science-based fat loss is now available? In other words, your fat cells, it's kind of complicated to explain this because diet and exercise does lose fat and lose weight.
Mhm.
But if your goal is to lose fat, just eating less and exercising isn't necessarily going to do that as efficiently as these light devices.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, because fat is a substance. It's a calorie. It's an energy source, which is not used for exercise. It's not used for any kind of physical activity.
Mhm.
Right now, we are humans. We have muscles, and we have to walk, and we have to push ourselves away from poisons, and we got to run after food.
Right.
Right. And we got to fight away people from hurting our children. Right. You need strength and muscles to do that. And you do not use fat for those actions.
That's right.
You use
Muscle.
glucose. No,
Yeah.
you lose glucose.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sugar.
Glycogen.
Yes. Okay.
Carbohydrate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gives you strength. That's where muscles get blood sugar from.
Right.
Now, your body can take fat and turn it into blood sugar,
Right.
but it's a really complex process. And it's not going to help you if you need it now.
Right.
Active shooter.
It's long term. Yeah.
No, I mean, active shooter. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sitting here with Frank and he was WSTU. I don't know if he locked the door out front,
Uh-oh.
but pop, 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 pop. You're like, what's that?
What the
Sounds
heck?
like firecrackers. Oh my God. It's an active shooter. Right.
Right.
Where do you think the energy comes to get the hell out of Dodge, to go through the window,
Right.
to pick up the chair and the table and push it up against the door?
Right.
I promise you it didn't come from your fat.
Right.
Okay.
From the adrenal gland.
The
Right.
adrenal gland
Yes.
stimulates energy, adrenal and epinephrine,
Mhm.
and that causes massive amounts of glucose, which is blood sugar,
Right.
which came from food,
Right.
stored in your body,
Mm.
and it squirted it into the bloodstream, and that raises your blood sugar, and your liver releases the glycogen and the glucose from the liver first. 20% of your liver is pure glycogen, and that's the stored form of glucose. And that liver is ready to dump it into the bloodstream. Okay. And then that gives you the blood sugar you need to run and to move your muscles.
Flight or fight.
Fight or flight. Right.
Mhm,
And then the other part that happens is once that 20% has been drained, then your body goes into the glycogen that's within your muscles.
Ah.
And that muscle will then do that. Now, the average amount of glycogen and stored glycogen in your muscles on a human is anywhere between 20 to 30,000 calories. Wow. Not 2,000 calorie normal intake.
Mm.
We're talking 20,000, meaning it's designed to last 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe you got to run for 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here you run to the police station. Your ancestor had to run to the other set of mountains.
Right.
With his kid on his back.
Right.
Running, right. Getting away from,
or climbing a tree or whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if I changed that scenario and I made fat be your main energy source for muscle movement? Okay. Now we're pop, you hear the shooter coming and I'm like, Frank, run. And you're like, Frank's like, well, hold on. What do you mean? You don't have any energy? He goes, I'm not hungry. What do you mean? You got to be hungry to burn fat.
Yeah.
You don't burn fat because you exercise. You burn fat because you're hungry. So wait a minute now. Well, Frank, what do you mean you're not hungry? Well, the only place I can get energy is from my body fat. Then I got to be hungry because fat is stored in a fat cell, which is put in by insulin, and it's closed off like a grape. And the only way to open up a fat cell is with glucagon, which is produced by the liver when you're hungry. So here you are. You're exercising. You're taking great care of yourself. And you decide that you're going to have a bagel with cream cheese. There's nothing wrong with that. It's 350, 400 empty calories.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to make carbohydrates. It's going to make sugar and fat. We know that.
Yep.
And you say to yourself, but I'm going to run the bridge today and I'll burn that off. Wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't burn it off. You stored it. And now you've burned off a little bit of stored energy. That's other areas, but you didn't burn that.
Right.
And because you never really got to fat burning yet. See, here's the problem with weight loss. And this is a glaring problem that is never, ever really going to change because there's still some truth to it. That if the only tool you're using is that silly scale as to how much you weigh, and you're trying to maintain weight, you could be completely missing the real point of health. Health and wellness, when it comes to weight and body fat and muscle tone, is a ratio.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ratio. You want 20% fat, 80% lean muscle.
Okay.
That's your 100%.
Yeah.
20% body fat.
Right.
80% lean muscle. Now, obviously, it's not all muscle.
Right.
There's water and bone and other things in that.
Sure.
So it's really only about 40 to 50% muscle, but muscle tone compared to body fat percentage is the most important parameter to look at your long-term health and wellness. Your ability to absorb poisons comes from muscle tone. Your ability to provide energy comes from muscle. Your body's ability to, if you ever to get sick and need energy reserves, it comes from muscle, not from body fat. It comes from muscle. It absorbs poisons. It makes you look better. It allows you to move away from poisons. It allows you to move into healthier things. It's all about muscle, you guys. As much as I hate to say it. Yet, when you stand on a scale, if you go to a scale and you weigh 200 pounds and you don't eat for a couple of days, or you eat less and you're not really burning fat yet, and that scale goes down, it doesn't mean you lost fat. It means you lost muscle tone, water. You can decrease. Most people will lose 5 to 10 pounds in weight loss the first month because they simply lost water weight.
Right.
Fluid retention.
Yeah.
Why do we retain fluid? Because we eat food that's full of salt.
Right.
You're
especially processed.
Especially processed foods. Yeah. It's called sodium chloride. It's called sodium, and it's in foods. Yeah. Now that's salt. Now your body's pH balance, which has to be perfect, like it's 7.0 or something. 7.4 is it?
Yeah.
It's
5,
perfect.
Yeah.
It has to, I don't know what it is. It just has to be perfect.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you eat a food that has salt, or I read this statistic, 1 tablespoon of salt or teaspoon of salt more than you normally eat, your body has to retain 1 gallon to 2 gallons of water to offset that saltiness.
Wow.
So you eat something salt, your body's going to retain water. A gallon of water weighs 8 pounds.
Right.
Last time I checked, right?
Exactly right.
8 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I'm on that scale. I'm only relying on the scale here. I'm not doing any body fat analysis like we do at the spa. And hey, I cleaned up my diet. I stopped eating that horribly that whatever that processed food was. I'm 3-4 days out and I dropped 6 pounds. Holy crap, I lost 6 pounds of fat. No, you didn't. You dropped 6 pounds of water.
Yeah.
You can lose, 2-3 pounds of the good bowel movement too, but that's different.
That's another story. Yes.
But so most people, when they come in, they're never really getting to the fat portion. Yeah. And that's really important here. By the way, if you're listening to this and you just tuned in, my name is Dr. Tread Rissacker. I am the owner, the doctor, and a client at the Slim Body Laser Spa. We're using light-based therapies to help to shrink and reduce body fat. One of the benefits of a light-based therapy for getting rid of fat is we can go through and past your body's desire to produce carbohydrate and glycogen for energy. And what we're doing is we're putting a laser on people, opening up fat cells, releasing fatty acid directly into the bloodstream safely, and we're timing it when you're hungry. So the way the process works is you lay on your back, you come into the spa, you come in hungry. 2 hours you haven't eaten, so you're hungry. You're going to need calories in another 2 hours. You're going to need food.
Yeah.
We lay you on the laser. The laser opens up the fat cells, releases 400 to 600 calories of fatty acid, not glycogen, not glucose, fatty acid, fat. Now, at the third hour, then we use whole body vibration to move those fatty acids into your bloodstream and then mix it into the bloodstream, which is safe. Now you're at your third hour where you haven't eaten. You don't eat for 2 more hours, drink plenty of water, and you will burn off those 600 calories of fat and never use the glycogen or the glucose, which happens when you exercise and diet.
Right.
Holy cow. I just summarized that in 1 minute.
You did.
Which I did for 13 years. I couldn't explain it like that.
Yeah.
Now, I understood this, but I really, really understand it today because of all the information that's out there.
Right.
So if your goal is to be healthy, you need to lessen body fat, not necessarily lose weight. And at the same time, when you lessen body fat, your muscular ratio is going to increase because the body fat and muscle work together.
Right.
Without even exercising or building any muscle, just because we're actually draining off fat. Now, if you want to really kickstart it, eat more protein.
Yeah.
Because then you'll start building muscle without even exercising. Did you know that?
No.
You can build muscle strength just by increasing protein without any exercise.
Nice.
I swear.
That's amazing.
People don't really. You think you got to exercise? No, you don't. In fact, when you exercise, you're really burning muscle and glycogen through the exercise.
Right.
And if you don't have protein in your diet, you can't build muscle.
Yeah, that's true.
Because muscle is protein.
Yeah.
And so for this reason, when people come into the spa, I am seeing good people, your mothers, your sisters, your aunts. You know, these are the people that are wearing the shirt that's not tucked in.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're dealing with they're becoming round.
Right.
And they're overweight. And they know they are. And I always ask a person before we do it, what do you think I explain what body fat percentage is. And I'll always say, where do you think your body fat percentage is? Some people know it's obese. Most will say, well, I have this little thing on it's a thing on my wrist and it tells me how much my body fat is. Those things are so inaccurate. I've never seen anything like it. I had one woman who's pretty fit, but had some body fat, not because she's not fit, because she doesn't understand eating proteins and then that you're never really burning any fat. So when I did her BMR, it was like 42%.
Ooh.
Now, 42% is really high.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, if you weigh 100 pounds,
it's about double where
pounds,
you want to be.
It's about half of your weight is fat.
Yeah.
And believe me, the other half is not lean muscle. Because there's bone and water, a lot of other issues here. So your muscle tone might be down to 20%. And she looked at me, she says, that's not true. I have an app and it's a computer thing. And they told me that my body fat was 26%.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's like 1% overweight. I said, darling, you're at 40%. Those apps can be very misleading.
I think so.
So, one of the things I would offer to anybody listening, if you just tuned in, my name is Dr. Tread Versacker, and I'm the doctor, the owner, and the client at the Slim Body Laser Spa. We have a $49 discovery day. Come on in, check it out. I will do a free body fat analysis on my $2,000 BIA machine, and it gives no errors. It's perfect. And at the same time, I'll even give you a consult and give you some tips and some points. I really want to be helpful. It's not about you have to be a client to access this. If I can teach you and show you what I do, and you can see the spa and you come in there and see the 600 testimonials we have on the walls, there's a reason why 6,000 people have been to the Slim Body Spa in 13 years. I mean, 6,000.
That's a lot.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
There's only, I think it used to be 14,000 in Stewart. What is it now? 18?
Yeah.
Think about 6,000 people coming into the spa.
Yeah.
And there's only 18,000 in all of Stewart.
It's amazing.
Right.
It's a third of the population. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And they, and I got pictures of, there a lot of testimonials, 600. And because of the fact that it works. And, and people are looking for somebody that's actually interested in them and interested in their benefit. And that's what I do. My staff does the procedures, and I'm like the ringleader. I'm the one that entertains and makes sure that they're there for the right reason. And I explain everything, and I'm reachable and approachable. So, it's something that is a gift, and we're not going away. We didn't, COVID didn't get us out.
No.
I made it through. We're still number one. We're the number one slimming center, in the whole Southeast. There's a lot of copycats. Oh my God. I'm seeing that nowadays, trying to overcome that. But, you got to be a doctor. I'm a doctor. So listen, if you are somebody who enjoys your free time, and you don't have the time to exercise, to go to the gym, and you do it. I'm not saying you don't have to. The laser spas are perfect for you because it's fast, it's quick, it's a plan, it's guaranteed. And in 3 to 4 weeks, it'll change your blood fat, your body fat. It'll give you energy, and you will have a plan to go off and eat better and to exercise and understand what's really happening within your body. Maybe you want to look better, but you don't want to stop eating better because you like alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
There's
that. Yes.
So when I went and learned about this procedure, and all the people I spoke to was, no alcohol. Well, good luck. Half the business would walk out.
Right.
I'm not going to give up alcohol. So they'll die off it, being overweight because there's no weight loss centers that will help them. The gym won't help them. I'm like, alcohol is okay. Let's just talk about it. It's a calorie. Your alcohol isn't some magic substance which makes you fat. Your alcohol makes you just as fat as a sundae, as a banana split. So how easy would it be to maintain weight if after the end of your day you ate 2 banana splits every single day? Sundays. 1,000 empty calories. You get fat from it. Alcohol is the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something that mysteriously makes you fat. So then you say, yeah, but I don't drink as much alcohol as that. Well, here's another problem with alcohol.
It's the mixer, right?
No, it's something which people that like alcohol and like to do it and won't give it up are much different in their behaviors socially. They're more likely to overeat. They're more likely to go out with some friends and eat a bunch of wings because they're at the party.
Right.
They're maybe going to miss the walk at night because they had some alcohol. So it's really more lifestyle that creates it than it is the actual alcohol. However, we can help you get results while you drink alcohol.
Nice.
You got it full of it. And then once your weight is where it needs to be, people come in to follow through to keep it off. Some people, have diabetes, cardiovascular disease, painful joints, arthritic joints, neuropathy in their hands, feet, overall fatigue, low energy. You got to get in there. If these are the things you're suffering with, nobody is going to help you at the Cleveland Clinic for these problems. I promise you. They will treat the symptoms. They'll give you medicine to get you through the day, to get across the river. It shouldn't be your houseboat. You need to get to the source. Hey, I got diabetes. I thought it was gone. It didn't go away. I'm on metformin because it works for me. But I'm on a little bit, and I hope to someday not have to take it. But for right now, it works. I'm not stupid. And maybe you're looking for a kickstart. You're in a midlife crisis. You're out of a relationship. Maybe you're been thinking about I got to get this weight off. I feel better about myself. Your appearance is, you don't like how you look. Maybe you're disgusted. Maybe you're unhappy about the shape of your stomach or being too large. Maybe the fat under your chin is an issue. Don't go to the surgeon, my God, or the fat freezing place. Come into Slim Body. We can put that laser on you, on your arms and on your chin. And in 3 weeks, man, that puppy looks better. It's thinner. It's tighter. It looks great. It'll look a lot better, without any downtime, without anything. Maybe you've plateaued in weight loss. Maybe you're stuck in your process and you can't get a budge. Well, that's because when you do weight loss, you're only burning visceral fat. You're not burning subcutaneous. So you're going to be stuck.
Yeah.
We can accelerate that with the laser.
Nice.
We can treat that subcutaneous, get that fat loss happening, and that will restart your overall weight loss program. Maybe you're looking to just tighten and tone your body after weight loss. We can help you there. Maybe you've got hormonal issues. Okay. Good luck at the gym with hormonal problems. It ain't going to change.
No.
You know, we can help with hormonal problems too. All right. So my name is Dr. Tread Rissacker. I'm the owner and the doctor at the Slim Body Laser Spa. I've just given you 1,700 different reasons why we're the best and why we're the best, why it could help you to come in and get some help for yourself. We are only the best at what we do, which is the application of light-based therapies to help you to look better, to feel better with less downtime, without any tissue damage. There's no pain, there's no swelling, there's no infections to ever deal with. There's a money-back guarantee, 3-inch loss after 3 weeks. You lay on your back, you listen to music, you get slimmer, and you're a healthier person. So, my website is drtreadslimbodylaserspa.com. I have a YouTube channel. I got an Instagram page. I got Facebook. Go to your little phone, click on it, and put Siri and say, Dr. Tread Slim Body Laser Spa. And it'll come up. How much time do I have? How much more time?
You actually have another minute.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
I bought you another
You tell
minute.
I'm kind of stringing along. Frank's a new guy, and he's not giving me my countdown.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I gave
was
you the
waiting on one.
countdown, but it's all right. You're on the one.
So I just want you to know that we're really here to help. You know, this business model downtown in Stewart, in the old Haagen-Dazs, is a gift. It's a shining hope of a future of less damage, of health and healing and wellness. And it is right here in Stewart for you. I mean, you don't have to drive to West Palm. You don't have to fly into New York or go out to the retreat out in Arizona at the Gaylord Palm Resort or the Structure House in North Carolina. You know, this is here in Stewart, Florida. And it is powerful and it is effective.
We got to go.
It's here for you.
All right. Bye.
I love you so much. Bye-bye.